The message blinked on the cracked phone screen like a warning flare in the dark. "Don't read it," she begged with shaking hands, eyes wide, breath caught somewhere between fear and hope. The biker hesitated for half a heartbeat, sensing the weight of a truth that could not be unseen, sensing that once the text was read, there would be no turning back. Somewhere beyond the rumble of engines and the smell of oil, something terrible was already moving, and the choice to look or not look would decide how many lives would change before dawn. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet courage, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Only Kindness. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Miles Crow had spent most of his life believing that loyalty was built in the saddle, not in words. He wore his years like weathered leather, stitched by highways and loss, and the brothers who rode with him trusted his calm more than his fists. That night, the city felt wrong, as if the streetlights leaned away from the truth. He had stopped for gas when he noticed her by the curb, sleeves too long, eyes too sharp for someone pretending to be invisible. The phone in her hand glowed with a fear that did not belong to the hour. When she pleaded with him not to read it, Miles sensed a history behind the plea, the kind carved by consequences. Her name was Arya Solace, and she carried the quiet exhaustion of someone who had been careful for too long. The message, she explained without words, was the kind that trapped you once it was opened. Miles had learned that some traps close whether you look or not. He read the text. In that instant, the world tilted, not because of what was written, but because of who had sent it and what it demanded. It was a web of threats and deadlines, a pressure meant to crush choice into obedience. The message counted hours like a countdown, and every line implied a punishment that would ripple outward. Miles did not raise his voice. He did not pace. He simply stood still and felt the weight settle. He knew Arya was not the problem. She was the evidence. Her life had narrowed to a corridor with walls of fear, and the message was the lock. He also knew that problems like this were never solved alone. They were solved by circles, by numbers, by brothers who answered when the road called. He thumbed his phone and sent a single signal to a private chain that existed for moments when silence was no longer an option. The response was not a flood of words but a sequence of confirmations, a heartbeat echoed 500 times. Engines woke across the city and beyond it, from garages and gravel lots, from places where men and women had promised each other that no one would stand alone when it mattered. The brothers came not for revenge but for witness, not to burn but to shield. Miles explained to Arya that safety sometimes arrived on loud wheels, and she nodded, tears held back by a fragile dignity. As the night thickened, the challenge grew clearer. The sender of the message had counted on isolation. They had assumed fear would keep Arya quiet and invisible. They had assumed that kindness was rare. Miles knew better. He had seen kindness move mountains when it was organized. He took Arya to a place that smelled like coffee and old wood, where lights stayed on for the lost. He made calls to people who knew systems and people who knew doors. The brothers spread out, not to intimidate, but to watch, to document, to make sure the city could not pretend it did not see. Time stretched. Arya's hands stopped shaking when she realized the night was no longer empty. She had spent months shrinking her life to fit someone else's threats, learning how to disappear in plain sight. Now she watched a different shape form around her, one made of presence. Miles spoke to her without speeches, offering water, offering steadiness. He told her that courage was not loud, that it was simply the decision to remain visible when fear demanded vanishing. The pressure reached its peak just before morning, when the sender expected compliance. Instead, they found a wall of daylight. Cameras rolled, doors opened, records surfaced. The city woke to a truth that could not be ignored. The brothers did not cheer. They did not pose. They waited until the danger passed, until the lock broke, until Arya's breath finally slowed into something like peace. When the sun rose, it painted the bikes in honest colors, metal and dust and miles. Arya stood taller, as if she had borrowed the morning's spine. She thanked Miles without theatrics, understanding that gratitude did not need to be loud either. She asked him why he had read the text when she begged him not to. He answered with a look that held a lifetime of roads, a look that said some pages must be turned so the story can change. Before the brothers dispersed, Miles gathered them in a quiet semicircle. He reminded them that strength was measured by what you protect, not what you break. 500 riders rolled out not as a spectacle but as a promise kept. Arya watched them go, the echo of engines fading into a future that felt wider than it had in months. If this story reached you, if it stirred something tender or brave inside, please take a moment now to like, share, and subscribe to Only Kindness. Your engagement tells the world that compassion travels farther than fear. And before the end, leave a comment with a single word that kindness means to you.